Going on, guys? It's American Patriot Elections back at it with another video, and today we're going to be doing my first 2028 presidential prediction. But first, let's slap those margins up on the screen. Safe is 10 plus, likely is 5 to 10, lean is 1 to 5, and tilt is below 1. But let's start with the candidates because we have no idea who's running. For the Democratic side, I think they're going to go more progressive. As we've seen with New York, Democrats are desperate to pick a reaction towards Trump, an extreme reaction, an anti establishment candidate. That's a similar effect that Trump had with their base, but with the Democrats' base. You saw with them electing Zoran Mamdani. I think Democrats are going to follow a similar trend and pick a progressive. I think the best progressive, the most fitting progressive, would be Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, aka AOC. For the Republican side, I think as of now, you have this new Republican, not new, he ran in 2016, Marco Rubio. Right now, he's working, I believe, 4 jobs, if this is up to date, for the Trump administration. He's the Secretary of State, along with a whole lot of other high ranking jobs. But also compared to someone like Vance, Rubio is great on camera. He has great name recognition. He's well known. He's well liked. He's moderate. And I think because of all those reasons, I think he will ultimately take the nomination. I think, just to boil it down simply, he's just better on TV. So, Rubio versus AOC. Let's start with the safe states, the states that no one's going to question. For Rubio, he's going to win Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska at large, Nebraska's 1st congressional district, Nebraska's 3rd congressional district, Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, and South Carolina. For AOC, she's easily going to win Washington, Oregon, California, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, Maine's 1st congressional district, Maryland, Delaware, Colorado, and Hawaii. By the way, I don't think every state here is going to be below 10. I just think these states are worth talking about. So let's talk first about Illinois. Now, Illinois is a state that's been swinging pretty right. If we compare Illinois, get the comparison out. Let's compare from 2016 to 2024. It shifted right 6.2 points. In 2016, what it was Clinton plus 17.1. Now it's Harris plus 10.9. Harris barely won it by a safe margin. The question is, do we think Rubio is gonna make it below a safe margin? But we have to think about what Harris did bad in. Harris did bad in Cook County. A lot of minorities there, but not just there. If you compare the previous years, there's this whole white working class area south of Chicago, and that area was very pro-Trump. This is Trump's space, the white working class Americans that were forgotten by the political system that came out to vote because of Trump. I think Rubio is going to retain Trump's gains with minority communities, especially because he is a Latino. He's going to keep those gains with Latinos, but I don't know how well he'll do with the white working class. Even though they'll vote for him, I don't know if they'll turn out to vote for him. So he's going to struggle getting those people out. So because of that, I think AOC is going to keep Illinois by a safe margin. By the way, I just noticed DC down here. I forgot to fill that in. AOC is going to win that by like 80 to 90 points for sure. No question about it. Next state, we're going to do New York. New York's another pretty blue state that has been shifting red 15.5 points. And basically all of it has been shifting red, especially New York City. And again, I think Rubio is going to have similar gains, not gains, like keep the margin relatively the same in New York City, specifically Richmond, which is where Staten Island is. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to do as well in upstate New York. Because I don't think he's going to do as well in upstate New York, I think it's still going to be a safe margin. How much did Trump win it by? Yeah. New Jersey, that state, kind of interesting because Harris only won it by 5.9, which was not expected by most people. If you watched my election prediction, you would have known I expected it. But Biden won it by 16 points. That's a huge shift, right? And New Jersey's different because it doesn't have that white working class base. There are some white working class people, but you have like suburban counties like Ocean. You have urban counties like the ones up here, and basically all of these shifted right. This is the wrong way. And I think Rubio is going to keep that, and I think he might even make it even more narrow. I don't think he'll ultimately win it, but I think he'll make it a lean margin. Next state is Alaska. Now, Alaska is a state that Trump won by a safe margin in 2024, but it was kind of under threat because 2020 was almost likely. 2016 it was even more red, 14.7. So it was shifting blue. People thought it would shift bluer, but it pulled back. And because Alaska is more of that like old Republican class, they have their Senator Lisa Murkowski, a crazy moderate. I think Rubio aligns more with that group of Democrats, Republicans. So I think he's gonna keep that by a safe margin. The next state is Florida, Rubio's home state. It used to be a swing state. You used to have to talk about it. 2016, Trump won by 1.2, 2020, 3.4, then 2024, 13.1. Crazy shift, right? Heavy Latinos, and that's just Rubio's base. Rubio's going to do amazing in Florida, win it by maybe 15 or 16. Speaking about heavy Latino states, let's talk about Texas. Texas had a similar effect. Texas was actually shifting blue. 2020, Romney won by 15.8. 2016, Trump by 9. 2020, Trump by 5.6. People were saying that Texas might be a blue state. And then 2024, Trump won by 13.7. And it's mainly because of this area. Just look at how red this area is. And let's look at 2012, 2008. This area used to be so blue, and Trump turned it into a Republican stronghold. That is crazy. Just look at the map from that area, from 2012. Just that bottom area, which Rubio is going to contain because it's Latino. Plus, this area that Trump was doing worse in, the suburbs, were Houston, Fort Worth. Houston's here, Fort Worth is here, Dallas here, uh, Austin's here, San Antonio is there. I think Rubio is going to do much better than Trump in those areas because he's more moderate. He's like the old type of Republican, not much like Trump. So I think he's going to do amazing in Texas. Next state we're going to look at is Virginia. Virginia was a state that used to be a red state. Bush won it, and then it flipped blue and hasn't gone red since. In 2016, Trump lost by 5.3. 2020, it went safe for Biden. 2024 went back to likely almost the same margin as 2016. But if you notice, Trump did better in basically the whole country from 2016 to 2020. But Virginia didn't move, meaning the state is trending leftwards. But Virginia has that old type of Republicans. That's why Bush did so well in it. And I think again that's going to be Marco Rubio's base. Rubio isn't going to do as good over here as Trump. If you compare past election to past election, wrong. This is where Trump did better in, versus up here is where Trump did worse in. And obviously, we kind of established that 2016 to 2020 was a very similar margin. So you kind of see where did Trump make his gains in versus where he made his losses in. I think Rubio is going to lose these gains, but I think he's going to minimize these losses, and I think he's going to keep it as a likely margin for AOC. AOC's at 204 electoral votes. Marco Rubio is at 195. Now let's talk about Ohio and Iowa. I like to talk about these states in a pack because they vote like a pack. I mean, 2018 they voted the same, 2012 they voted the same. But once Trump came into play, 9.4, 8.1, 8.2, 8.0, 13.2, 12, 11.1, they basically vote the same, almost the same margin, usually a 1 to 2 point difference. But these two states are very white working class. Obviously, Ohio has those suburbs. You got Cleveland, Columbus. Hamilton County is interesting. Hamilton County used to be much redder, but it's shifted. That's where Cincinnati is. That's where the Bengals play in Hamilton County. And again, I think Rubio is going to do better here, but that just isn't most of Ohio. Most of Ohio is all of this. And that Rubio is going to do worse than. Same with Iowa. Rubio is going to do worse than here. I think both states might be like Rubio +7. Obviously, I think he's still going to win it. He's not going to campaign much there. It's an easy win for him, but it's still going to be a likely margin. Next state is going to be New Mexico. New Mexico is interesting because even though it's very Hispanic, uh, Trump still lost it by 6. You didn't see the same move in New Mexico, 10.8 to 6, as you would see in a state like Arizona. If you compare past election to past election, it shifted Trump by 4.8 compared to 8.1 in Texas, 5.8 in Arizona, 5.5 in Nevada, and 9.0 in California. And that is because New Mexico, one, people weren't really focusing on New Mexico. Not a lot of money was being spent there. You didn't really have border ads in New Mexico versus obviously Texas and Arizona are bigger states in terms of the election. Plus, California has a lot of House races, so there's a bunch of ads playing there. So the border is a bigger issue there. But I think with enough campaigning, Rubio might get that margin slightly tighter. I don't think it's going to be tight enough. I think maybe it's going to be AOC plus 5.1, 5.3 maybe. So I think it's still going to be likely. Next state is Kamala Harris's vice president's home state, Minnesota. This is a state that has never gone red since 1972. Look at this. This has 72. Yeah, red. Just look at this. Blue, 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 blue. It almost red in 2016. Trump lost by 1.5, but 2020 it was like by 7. 2024 it was like by 3, 4.2 actually. Yeah, this again is a white working class state. You have, I think these are called the Iron Counties, but all of these counties are very white working class, and you're gonna see a big shift right when I show you the map from, let's say, 2008. Look at that. Look how hard right all these counties are shifting. But then look at what's shifting left. The big parts, the suburbs, Minneapolis, and a lot of people live there. And I think that part is going to shift right from 2024 to 2028 if Rubio is a nominee. But I don't think this is going to shift right. I think that's going to shift to left, and I think it's going to shift left enough to make the state likely for AOC. If you recognize the map right now, this is the 2024 map for Kamala, barring 3 states. Uh, Maine, uh, New Hampshire, and Nebraska's second district. I was confused because I said states. Nebraska's second district isn't a state, it's a district. But let's talk about that district because why not? That's a from 2008 it shifted 3.1. There's no county map for the district. Trump won this one in 2016, but he lost in 2020, and they redistricted it. If you see the map, they make it look the same. Wow, it actually does look different. It's not. It looks like that, not like that now. I don't know why map.jackson2.com hasn't fixed it. They should. But Harris won it by 4.7. It's very suburban. They have a Republican congressional representative, Representative Don Bacon. And because it's suburban, that's the base that hates Trump, but would like a more moderate Republican like Don Bacon or Marco Rubio. And because of that, I think Rubio is going to win it by like 2 or 3 points. Not much, and not that it matters. So this is our first flip from 2024, Nebraska's second district. Now let's talk about Maine at large and Maine's second district. Maine's second district, that was a blue district before Trump came along and decided that it should be red. Like, just look at how blue that was until Trump came along. And that was a big swing. It voted for Obama by 8.6 and then Trump by 10.3. And Trump has kept a tight margin over it. It's very white working class, but again, I said that base is a base that Rubio is going to fear. But again, it's so red right now, and I know you could have said it's so blue right now when you looked at it previously, but I think it's different. I think Rubio is going to keep some of this space. He's not going to keep it all, and AOC is going to energize some of this space, but the left-leaning part of the space that otherwise wouldn't have voted. But I don't think it'll be enough to flip it all together, but I think it'll make it much more competitive. I think it's going to be one within a point. So I'm going to make Maine's 2nd district tilt Rubio. Now, Maine at large, just do the math. If you win one district by over 10, it's probably like 20. The other district by less than 1. Which side does it go for? It goes to the side that won by more. So AOC wins Maine at large. Now, New Hampshire. New Hampshire almost went to Trump in 2016. But this is a white state, but it's not white working class. It's more like this part of Maine, not this part of Maine. And because of that, they kind of shifted away from Trump in 2020. They shifted a little back, but not that much back. Trump obviously didn't win it. This state went to a Bush once in 2000, and it does kind of seem like that old guard type of state. They actually voted for a Republican governor in 2024, Kelly Ayotte, by 9.3, and they've had Republican governors for a long time, actually. And it's because college educated people are more likely to like split ticket, especially on local races. So they would be open to electing a Republican. And because it's a much more moderate Republican and not Trumpian Republican, I think they will elect Marco Rubio. So that's our second flip from 2024. So as of now, Rubio has made gains. But if you notice the states that I kept, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, these were known as the 7 swing states in 2024. And let's talk about how each one will go, starting with the biggest of them all, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was a state that has gone for the winner for a while, I think since 2008, because it didn't vote. Yeah, it's gone for the winner since 2008. Trump barely won it in 2016. Biden won it in 2020. Then Trump won it by even more in 2024. Pennsylvania, you have a lot of white working class counties over here, but you also have suburbs. You have this area very suburban and urban here in Philadelphia, and you also have this area very urban, suburban, kind of because it's Pittsburgh. I think Rubio's gonna do as well as Trump in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. I think he's gonna do better than Trump in the surrounding suburbs. But I think he's gonna do much worse than Trump in all of here. But there's not a lot of people that live all of here, meaning that he's gonna do very similar to Trump altogether. Meaning that I'm gonna have him at basically the same margin as Donald Trump, a lean margin. Next state is Michigan. Michigan was a deep, deep blue state before Trump came along. Obama won by 9.5 and 16.5. Look at that, 16.5 to Trump winning it in 2016. Trump ended up losing it and then winning it again. Michigan has the whole white working class area. They also have Detroit. Trump did pretty well in Detroit compared to previous years. He shifted Detroit pretty hard, right? Oh, by the way, just look at how blue all of the white working class is with Obama. And I think AOC is going to try to have a similar effect with the white working class because she's going to be all anti establishment. She's going to be pro worker. I don't think it's going to be as effective, but I think it will work. I think it will energize some of these people, causing a shift away from Rubio. Rubio's going to do as well as Trump and Wayne. He's not going to do as well as Trump in all of here. And there's a lot of people in all of here, meaning that I think he's going to lose Michigan by a decent margin, like maybe 4. Wisconsin, same thing. Wisconsin actually didn't move much. It hasn't moved much. In 2016, voted for Trump by 0.76. 2020, Biden by 0.63. 2024, 0.86. Basically no movement altogether. That's because even though Trump did better in some white working class areas, there's a lot of old people in this state. A lot of old Republicans, that old kind, the type that's on Social Security that didn't really like Trump. So if you look at the map, Waukesha, Washington, and Ozaki, whatever, they're called the WOW counties. These counties used to be hard right, and they've been shifting away from Trump. Rubio is going to love these counties. He's going to do great in these counties. But if you look back at the old guard, all of these areas that Trump made gains in, I don't know if Rubio is going to keep those gains. He's going to do much worse there. So he's going to do better in these 3 counties. He's going to do as well as Trump in the urban areas. But losing all of this is not great because he's going to lose all of that. I have him losing Wisconsin by a decent margin, 2, maybe 4. So now we have 246 to 243. It's all about the Sun Belt region. So whoever wins the Sun Belt region wins the election. Let's start with Nevada. Nevada is a state that's not moving much. In 2016, it voted for Hillary by 2.4, 2020, basically the same thing for Biden. And 2024, it was like, nah, bro, let's move. And it voted for Trump by 3.1. Nevada is the only state that I was wrong about in 2024. So I'll be sure to not be wrong this time, hopefully. I look for the warning signs. The reason why Nevada did so well was the border. There's a lot of Latinos in Nevada. Trump did well with those Latinos. And the border actually is a big issue for Latino communities because a lot of the ones that are here legally, obviously, if you vote, you're a citizen. If you're a citizen, you're here legally. Their jobs are taken by illegals. They don't like them. And because Trump is doing very well on the issue of immigration, he fund he's going to sign the big beautiful bill, which is going to allocate $170 billion to ICE. I think these Latino communities are going to be very happy with this. And I think Rubio, as a Latino, will be able to speak to them. He can run ads here speaking in Spanish to them. So I think he's going to do great in Clark County and will show like the white areas of the suburban-ish areas of Nevada that turned away from the GOP, that the old GOP liked. I think they're gonna like him. I think Rubio is gonna do great in Nevada. I'm gonna have Nevada as likely Republican. Rubio's gonna do great here. Arizona, similar deal. You have Maricopa, the white suburban area, but you also have the Hispanics all around here. And I mean, this state used to be much redder, but Trump actually made gains with the Hispanics here, but he did much worse in the suburban areas, and he still won it last year by 5.5, even though he lost it in 2020. I think Rubio is going to keep all those gains and with the Hispanics and expand the suburban areas because obviously we've established Rubio has that suburban base, that moderate base that Trump alienated. So he's going to do great in Arizona, win it by a likely margin. Next state is Georgia. If Rubio wins Georgia, he keeps it. Now, Georgia has a big issue, and that's immigration because Georgia, not like border immigration, but immigration from other states. Because in Georgia, if you look at the past election map, they've been getting bluer. This is 2012. But pay attention to where it's been getting bluer. This area. This is where all the people live. This is where Atlanta is, and this is the surrounding suburbs. And the problem with this is these areas are getting way more people. A lot of people are moving here. So not only is this area getting bluer, it's getting much more populous. And because it's getting much more populous, it's going to be bluer because the bluer areas are getting more populous. So it's going to be hard for Rubio to overcome the state getting bluer but having more Democrat voters come in. And because of that challenge, I think the state will be closer. But remember, I was talking about how these suburban areas are going to be bad for him. But he's going to do better in the suburban areas. So he's going to mitigate that margin. He's going to mitigate that loss. And he's going to keep it within 1 point. And I think ultimately, he will slightly prevail. So that puts him in the win. Let's talk about the last state, North Carolina, quickly. North Carolina was a state that's gone red for quite some time. It flipped blue in 2008, but it's been red altogether. And I don't see it shifting that way, but I do think it's going to be closer because it's trending towards the left, even though it's not going left. And Rubio is going to do well in the suburban areas, but he's not going to keep it up in the rural areas. And these southern trends of going bluer, I just don't see them fading away completely. Therefore, I have Rubio winning it by less, but still a lean margin. And that's my map, everyone. Rubio is going to do slightly worse than Trump in 2024 and 2016. He's going to have 292 electoral votes to AOC's 284. Comment down below if you want a prediction with maybe JD Vance in it. And Patriot out.